Hey guys, it's Carissa here with Inky Fairy Designs, and it's been a while, but I'm back today with a watercolor video for you guys. Somewhat hopefully on Wednesday. We'll see when this gets up. But I have got my hands on some new watercolors. These are the Prima watercolors. The collection is called Pastel Dreams. And I went on my Instagram yesterday and swatched out all the colors, and I really love this collection. This is what I did live on Instagram. So if you guys are not following me yet, go ahead and head over there at Inky Fairy Designs. You can find me, and sometimes I hop on randomly and do live watercolors or other things. So that was just a practice that I showed you that I did yesterday. Today I wanted to work on some higher quality paper, so I pulled out my Arches cold press 140 pound. And then you see I've got my jars of water again and my paper towel, and I just pulled out a variety of watercolor brushes. And I mainly use, I think, a 10, an 8, and a 6. I didn't really use that big mop brush, but it's beautiful. I love it. It's just so much fun. I'll have to do some videos with that in the future. So I am going to start off this video in real time so you guys can kind of see how I pull up some of the color. I like to put it in the palette and kind of mix it, not mix it, but just water it down a little bit, and then bring in that color onto my paper and start drawing some very loose shaped florals. What I did today is a wet on dry technique. So my paper is totally dry, and I come in, I lay down the pigment, and then I'll drop in, some other colors into that area. So it's a little bit of wet on wet once I've started shaping that flower. And then I will clean off my brush, bring in some clean, clear water, and then just soften up those edges. And I was trying to do more like really, really loose florals today. I actually kind of blur out the edges a lot on this first go on the flowers. It's really pretty. It's looking really pretty right there. I like it, but it was kind of too perfect of a round shape for me. And so I decided here, after I brought in a little bit more darker color on the bottom just to add a little bit of shading, I decided to really kind of soften up those edges and create like a bleed, if you would, of just some color washes. So that what I'm doing is I'm like wetting the area around that little flower that I created, and then I will touch, the bits of pigment that are already on my paper, and you can see how it kind of just blooms out into the area that I just wet right next to it. So anytime you're watercoloring, this is you either want this to happen or you accidentally have this happen when you're like going through your watercolors and accidentally touch an area that's wet to another area that's wet. So it just depends on like what style you're going for. That was the style that I wanted. I really wanted to kind of soften up those edges and let them kind of blend out and bleed out. So I am doing a bit of a bouquet look here. I just really wanted to play with these watercolors again. I love the colors, and so I kept the first flower real time, and then I sped up the rest of the video about 4 times what it actually took to paint, and just to keep this video on the shorter end. So but you can pretty much see, I go in, I try to mix up some of the colors. What I realized with this palette is that the top row of colors there are more of like a warm color palette, and then the bottom row in this collection is more of a cool kind of palette, which is, I end up using almost, I think, every single color except the cool yellow. I don't know why I didn't use that one, but I didn't. I even used a little bit of the browns that are there. That color that I just went into, I think it's called Seaside um, something, but it's my favorite. It's my favorite color. It's a very pale mint green color, and I absolutely love it for leaves. So that's what I started with, the leaves. I kind of drew some little stems, and then I'm adding some leaves here and there, and um, it gets pretty busy in the end, but I think I'm happy with it. I probably could have stopped a lot sooner and been totally fine with it, but I just was having so much fun adding all of these little elements that I just couldn't stop. So I went in with that little bit of a darker green, and now I'm coming in with this blue that is really, really pretty, and I'm doing some blue leaves at the top. I don't know, the blue leaves, when I was playing around with this yesterday on Instagram, those blue leaves were just so pretty, and they are just not expected, I guess, because, in nature we're looking at mainly green leaves. So the blue leaves were just, to me, added to kind of like the dreamy feel of this whole painting. So as you can see, the painting has dried. I had to step away for a bit, and so I allowed it to dry naturally. And now I'm coming in and going over some of the areas with a second layer, kind of like glazing on top of what was already there and dry. And then I'm also adding additional leaves and foliage around, just kind of filling in some of the white areas, using some of the different colors, like this really, really light blue I wanted to bring in. And I think I changed to this is like where I'm using the number 6 round. I just wanted to have some different size leaves around my flowers. And so here I am just playing around with the different shapes. You will see that I occasionally, like when I'm done with a certain element, I'll use that color and I'll just dip it in my water and kind of splash it on my page. And it's a way to get some really interesting blooms and variations in a painting, because you don't know where the colors are going to drop, and you don't know what areas are still wet, how they're going to interact, how they're going to play with each other. And I think it just really adds to a painting to create those splatters. And I like splatters in my mixed media, so why not add the splatters in my watercolor? So here I am glazing over those flowers, just kind of giving them a little bit more definition, but you'll still see the first layer where it's very, very loose and kind of has that bleeding look. And here I added the stems with that brown, and I really didn't like it, but I'm leaving it alone for now. Here I am adding, I think, some more of those light blue, smaller leaves just to the top of my bouquet, trying to give it some balance. I'm not really thinking about the composition in this entire piece at all. I really, you guys haven't seen me put out a new video in a month, this entire month of June, and it's really because I have not been creating anything in the month of June. And I realized, again, I talked about this before, you'd think I would take my own advice, but when I have long periods where I don't create something, I can feel it like affect the other areas of my life. And so I'm trying really hard to find that balance. I have a new side hustle. I started selling color street nails back at the end of March, and that's really taken up a lot of my time, and I absolutely love it because the product is amazing. I'm actually wearing them on my nails in my video today, and it's really fun, and I love kind of seeing where it could go and giving my family some freedom. Trying to get some, financial freedom here. So, it's been fun, but this this is who I am. Like, this creative side of me, I really definitely need to schedule it in my life, and I want to start doing videos again because I love videos. I love your comments. I've gotten behind on responding to your comments, and that really tugs at my heart because it means so much to me when you leave a comment that I want you to know that I'm reading them, that I'm responding to them, and you guys have really kind of been amazing to my channel in the past, this past 6 months when I started doing videos again to grow my channel where it is. So I appreciate all of you. And yeah, I'm going to be doing more videos. So I brought in, after I was kind of like almost done, I felt like I wanted to add these little, just a few elements of this shimmer collection from Prima. I don't know the name of it. I'll have all of the supplies as usual in the description box. But it's like one of their shimmer or pearlescent watercolors. And so I added a few details onto the roses, onto some of the leaves. I created some leaves. I think I went overboard with the leaves, but I did add some buds in and around to kind of fill it in. And then here I am just splashing in some water, and I think I'm done. So here's some just a close-up. My camera is really high for some reason. I could not tell. I could not see if I was actually in the frame when I was doing this close-up for you guys. So it's just me blindly placing it up, and hopefully you can see the shimmer from that Prima watercolor. And yeah, I'm really happy with the way that it turned out, actually looking at it back on film. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video as well. And give me a thumbs up if you did. Definitely subscribe to my channel if you aren't already a subscriber. I do try to get videos on here Mondays and Wednesdays, and some Saturdays. I'm trying to figure out what I want to put on Saturdays, but usually on Mondays I have mixed media, Wednesdays I have watercolors, and I'm definitely trying my best to get that back on the schedule. So you guys, thank you again for watching. I am so happy to be back in my element and creating art, creating these videos for you. It's so important to who I am and kind of giving me peace in my life, and hopefully you guys find some inspiration in it. So until the next video, stay inspired, be creative, and share that with others. Thanks again for watching, guys. Bye.